Northface Construction, great service from the ground up. Roofing, storm damage, and siding. Call the pros at Northface. A hands-on approach, advice and consulting. Our attention to detail makes the difference. Visit online at northfaceconstruction.com. Northface Construction, great service from the ground up.
All right, so moving into the number 11 spot for the power rankings, we have the Acorn Assassins. I will say my least favorite team in the league.
It's my least favorite owner. I don't hate all the players.
No. I actually like a lot of the players.
Yes.
Some of the players.
Yes, some.
Two of the guys.
I'm just shutting down over here emotionally, so it's okay.
AP, you had yourself ranked the highest at 7.
Okay, that wasn't an outlier, all right? Jack had me ranked 8. You had me down at 12.
I did, but that's because, as we've said before, I'm not a huge fan of the studs and duds approach.
You're a fan of that kind of just like wet noodle, limp biscuit approach to drafting.
I love Limp Bizkit.
No highs, no lows, all right?
Why don't you read off your team and tell us why your team...
Now, wait till you people hear this starting lineup, because it's a good starting lineup.
Sit down.
So at quarterback, we've got Daniel Jones. Wide receiver, Devontae Adams and T. Higgins. Running back, we have Ramondre Stevenson, David Montgomery. Tight end, Dallas Goddard. Wide receiver, Garrett Wilson. And flex, the really good Curtis Samuel. At bench, wait till you people hear this. Gets a little spicy. We got Josh Reynolds, JaMychal Hasty, Malik Davis, Braxton Berrios, Trey Palmer, Snoop Connor, Trey Sermon, Mike Boone, Sam Darnold, Nelson Aguilar, Laviska Shenault, and Tim Patrick.
Hey, he's IR, man. You can pick up a new guy.
I do think I went a little too studs and scrubs heavy, but the only draft pick I really maybe regret is paying 17 for Montgomery, even though I do like Montgomery. It's just not a sexy pick. And then I probably shouldn't have paid for that third wide receiver. I think in hindsight, I could have gotten by with maybe going someone like London or McLaurin.
Rather than Higgins.
Well, I actually think Higgins.
Or is Higgins, do you consider Higgins your 2?
I consider, Higgins, I bought him with my second pick, but I think I'd rank them Adams, Wilson, Higgins.
Me too.
Agreed,
So I wish that I actually really I think the Higgins pick was a really good value. But I probably in hindsight wouldn't have taken Wilson or Adams and tried to spread that out a little bit more, and then I could have gotten a better flex spot.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The only thing, if we're talking about Devontae Adams coming into the season a little bit, I think it's fun to address the fact that he does have a new quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo this year in Las Vegas. Not saying, and I know we talked about this even before the podcast, that Devontae Adams was more of a route runner, slant runner, kind of, or like would catch the closer passes.
He was
the routes.
The routes. You know what they do when they run down the field. I think
Shoot the pass.
now coming into this, I was really analyzing the fact that Garoppolo is known for literally never throwing the deep ball ever, and Devontae Adams coming off of a season with 47 20+ yard catches with Derek Carr.
That is absolutely wild.
Was very concerning just looking at the statistics. But now hearing that he had a different role when he was in Green Bay you're probably fine. He came in as the second wide receiver 2 last year.
Yeah.
So he's definitely ranking top 10, if not even closer to the top.
He's definitely a little less consistent than he was in Green Bay, at least that first season in Las Vegas. But
yeah.
I do think showing that, I think he's over 30 now.
Yes, but he's a touchdown guy. He's going to get red zone
the fact
targets.
he could still get deep last year, despite being probably on the tail end of his career.
Yeah.
That's encouraging to me.
I would say that the pick I liked most on your draft was actually probably Dallas Goedert.
I do love Dallas Goedert.
The value I got at both Daniel Jones and Goddard, I was pretty happy with.
Yeah, Daniel Jones, $4. He was in contention for my MVP pick. Because the fact that you got him for $4, and if he does the same rushing and doesn't regress.
QB 9, I think, last year.
Yeah.
And I think he was getting drafted around QB 13 this year.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact I got to pay $4 for him, and I don't know, going back to Kyle Pitts, Jack, if I could pay whatever it was, 17 for Pitts or 8 for Goddard.
I think
I'm taking
7.
Oh man, I'm taking
8.
Was it 8?
I'm taking Goddard for sure. Looking at his stats a little bit, 700 yards and 3 touchdowns last year, including a couple weeks of injury. Also missing Jalen Hurts at the end of the season. He's still tied for the most yards per reception at 12.8 with George Kittle. And in my opinion, I expect Goddard to definitely finish within the top 10.
I also think that if the Eagles probably have a worse defense this year and not as easy of a schedule, there'll hopefully be more shootouts. So I'm hoping that they don't just run out the clock like they did last season.
Yeah, it's a good
Makes
point.
sense. Makes sense.
Going
I
to
do
my
think-
bench.
Yeah, I was just gonna.
This is where it gets
I was just about to
interesting.
tap in.
Again, I think I don't mind my bench picks like in literally.
Which one don't you mind? Because
So-
Actually,
I don't mind Reynolds. I don't
Yeah.
mind. I mean,
I don't
Samuel is
either.
my starting flex, but I think that's kind of like a worthy dart throw. He's
Okay.
shown decent enough production in the past.
656 yards and 4 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, I don't like that.
decent enough.
Malik Davis, really interesting in that if Pollard gets hurt, Deuce Vaughn's like 5'4" and like 160 pounds.
Deuce is getting all of it, baby.
I think he could get some work. Braxton Berrios has shown with the Jets last year that when given the opportunity, he could be okay. I don't know who Trey Palmer is.
I don't think Braxton Berrios is going to get anything.
Oh, you're probably right.
I mean,
I'm saying like there is some case for upside there.
yeah, okay.
Trey Sermon had a really good preseason. Mike Boone has shown historically that he's good when he gets chances. Again, Houston, there's not a whole lot in front of him. I hate Nelson Aguilar and LaVisca and Tim Patrick. I would think LaVisca, I've just heard some.
I don't think you'll get much out of Patrick this year.
I don't think so either. I really just took him because I was like, I don't know any of the other names.
Yeah.
Either. But I think Darnold actually could be interesting as well, especially if Purdy's elbow is not right. Like last year, I think Darnold showed that he can produce when given some opportunity. Or actually,
Right.
maybe it was 2 years ago.
And hopefully you'll never have to. You only have to play him once, hopefully.
And hopefully he's the starter then.
By that point. Yeah, that's true. If he's not a starter, your bye week,
We'll figure it out.
I think
Figure it
every
out.
starting quarterback's drafted.
There might be one left.
Okay.
Either way, I'll probably have to do some finagling.
Yeah.
But I think this is a team that could finish in the top 4 or at the bottom 4.
Yeah,
Okay, I could see that.
I can see that too.
Well, now that we've talked enough about you,
Yeah. Oh god.
number 10 on our list is
10.
the Sun City Sleepers.
And I will say probably just one position above Acorn. I think that's safe to say. Very fair rating, very fair ranking.
I'm trying to think where. Well, Jack. I mean, why don't we?
Jack
why don't you
did-
try and justify
you-
your ranking?
Yeah, I think
of
if we
your
went
team
by
in the
your
top
ranking-
I can
4.
talk. I can talk about my team a little bit. Now, the only thing we did talk about this before, but the fact that issues with James Conner, I did lower my rating after I had submitted my information a little bit.
You
Is
lowered
this
it
another
to 4?
hedge?
Yeah, my entire forte is going to be hedging, just to make sure that I cover.
I'm a
my-
hedger.
I am a hedger. So I think
Hedger.
starting out. How did they know her? Hey,
Look at that sink.
baby. I think some of the strengths that we're looking at, and yes, this is a league that definitely it still will favor rushing quarterbacks, but it also helps with passing quarterbacks because of that 6-point touchdown thing. So Jalen Hurts does feel that a little bit. I think it hurts his value a little bit, but I still see Jalen Hurts coming in this year as like top 2 quarterback in the league. I really do. I think he's such a stud. If he stays healthy and exceeds previous year stats, he can carry a team into the playoffs, in my opinion.
So right now your starters are Jalen Hurts at QB,
Yeah.
James Conner,
LOL.
Samaje Perine,
Yep.
CD Lamb, which I do like that pick.
I do like CD.
Marquise
Marquise.
I struggle with that. Hollywood Brown.
Yep.
Mark Andrews at tight end.
Yep.
Traylon Burks at flex and Marvin Mims at flex.
Potentially Marvin Mims. Maybe Evan Ingram, though. I might throw in another tight end
Honestly,
because
yeah.
my wideouts are not impressive after my top 6-7 guys.
I kind of like some of your bench guys, Jack.
So do I. I got a lot of young guys. I got a lot of third string options on my team. I'm hoping that based on the injuries that happened in the NFL this year, that my guys are the ones that are just optimal.
So
they're getting
just
spots.
for the record, you're hoping these
Guys
players
get
get
injured.
injured. These guys who have families, friends, livelihoods to
That's
pay
right.
for. You're hoping they get injured for the benefit of your
That's exactly
fake
correct.
fantasy
Why
league.
are we taking so much time on this? I'm agreeing with you. Yes. I hope they break their legs. Just kidding.
break a leg.
No.
People say it all
I'm
the
just- yeah,
time.
I'm just saying the injuries that do happen in the NFL, which are going to happen regardless,
Oh, okay, so it's
are
inevitable.
in my favor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I will say that my biggest issue is my running backs. I have probably some of the weakest running backs in the league.
I'm gonna have to agree with you there.
Yeah, I don't think James Conner or P. Ryan are going to carry my team, but I am already in,
I'm higher on Connor than AP is.
I know, yeah. I
Probably
think
not
it's-
as high as you
so
are, but
I'm not like. I think what just rubbed me wrong about Connor, and I will confess to the audience that this is my RIP pick
Oh.
as the worst pick in the draft.
Wrong. You're wrong.
China. James Conner,
We're gonna build a wall around you.
the best running back of the running backs. I think Connor, again, $29 for a player who is on a bad offense, who's old, who's often injured, and is playing for a team that is, again, probably the worst team in the league and it's going to be tanking. I just don't think that was great value.
Do you want to hear my explanation now? Can I talk?
No. I'd like to read off some of the players who went for less than James Conner.
Yeah, go ahead.
So T. Higgins went for 31, but that you paid more than Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Evans, Breece Hall, Miles Sanders, same as Dameon Pierce, more than J.K. Dobbins, more than Rashad White, and more than Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's ridiculous.
But the only ones that really count in that are the running backs.
Other running backs, for sure.
You can't count his value versus other wide receivers.
Well, I just did.
I know, but
But then you could say, oh, then somebody who like J. Jeff went for 64, Patty Mahomes only went for 38. Like they're not the same position.
Correct. I still just think it's like with what you paid, you could have.
So
gotten
here's
a player who
the
helped your
argument
team
that I'll
more.
make for James Conner. At that time in the draft, we were getting real slim on good running backs.
Wrong.
I waited too long to get a running back. So at that point, I had a lot of money. I was like, I'm going to dish out $29 on an old running back like James Conner, full well knowing that I'm probably not going to have him next season and it's not going to affect my money. So that's why I dished it out. I'm not happy with my running backs. Trust me. I'm not happy. But that was the reason why I paid so much for James Conner, and it is what it is.
I think you paid for at least volume at the start of the season, and we'll see where that leads.
Yeah.
if he stays healthy, he will have a lot of volume. He will be maybe the only thing besides Hollywood Brown.
Which is funny because I got
you
both.
got both. That is actually
I don't care what anybody says. Arizona's going to be nuts this year.
Super Bowl, baby!
Super Bowl and bust.
I was looking up something before this, and it was the floor and ceiling for the Cardinals. What do you think the ceiling was?
Oh,
5 wins.
It was like 5-12.
Yeah.
And the floor 0-17.
Yeah, I can see it. I can
could
absolutely
too.
see it.
I actually don't know if Murray plays at all this year, but okay.
Jack, wait, quickly, Jack.
Oh, yeah,
There's just a couple of guys on your bench. I really like the Ingram Mims,
Mims. Yeah.
Hubbard, Burks, and Slayton.
I like Mims.
I think there's an interesting combination of upside guys in your bench.
Yeah, a couple of the guys that I am kind of excited to see, just if anything could happen, and they might be weird ones.
By could happen, you mean players get injured.
That's right.
And then they step
right.
into there.
I'm going to be out on the Green Bay field taking out Musgrave so I can get Kraft in there.
Yeah.
I do like Tucker Kraft as tight end. I don't think I'm really low on Musgrave actually. So I think that there could be a switch in the middle of the season where Tucker Kraft does get a ton of time.
Do you think you'll hang on to Tucker Kraft through the middle of the season?
I don't know yet. I haven't decided that far. I'm a present player, Andy.
Stay in the moment.
Yeah.
I do like Treylon Burks. I like Evan Hull a lot too. Guys like Darius Slayton. It's like he's a decent wide receiver in a really bad passing offense. And that being said, I also don't think he's a decent wide receiver. So
The Giants, it seems like the Giants. So nothing what I said previously matters. But
exactly.
I think Slayton's an interesting, he's a young player
Yeah.
who's done fairly well when he's given the opportunity.
He's a boom bust guy as
The
well.
he
Giants
is
have
totally.
definitely tried to replace him every single year, and they hate him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do hate him.
He's interesting.
Yeah. I also got guys like Eric Ray. He's a fun handcuff spot. That is also an independence if guys get injured like a Tony Pollard. He's in
Again, injuries. This dude.
166 son of a bitch.
Well, I think every single team is pretty based on if injuries happen, then potentially my bottom 6 guys have an opportunity to play.
It's true. It's true.
I just
At the
like
end of the
my
day,
bottom 6 guys more than most other teams, to be honest with you.
No, I think they're really interesting.
Yeah.
swings. So
That's why I did rank my team decently high, but I think we have potential, and I think outside of our running back core, we're tough.
So outside of one of the most important positions in fantasy football, you're tough.
That's you. That's what you sound like. I'm not taking this personally, but I hate you.
I'm shutting down. How about this weather? Anyway, moving on to number 9. I'm curious. This is actually one of the biggest possible swings we had in rankings.
This was, we actually are on the same track a
Sounds like
lot
we're
more
very
than I thought.
intelligent, right?
Must be. Must be. So at 9, the Andover Avalanche, owned by Ryan Kopka.
Kupka.
Kepka.
Kupka.
Ryan
Yes.
Kepka. AP and I had him ranked at 4 and 5, and Jack had him ranked at
Explain yourself.
16.
15.
15.
15.
No, I have 16.
We have 16 on here.
Oh, then 16.
I might have had that wrong. No, I
So-
have 16.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the strengths first.
There's none.
This team sucks.
I do like his running backs, Alvin Kamara, Cam Akers, Kenneth Walker. I really like Kenneth Walker. I think he's a stud. He had 1,000 yards last season on 9 rushing touchdowns. I like Cam Akers coming into the season. I like Alvin Kamara. Wide receivers, Devontae Smith is a beast. I think Keenan Allen has still got some gas left in the tank.
I agree.
A lot of upside in the 2 highest value positions at running back and wide receiver. But I think the tight end is the worst pick in the draft. Well, not worst pick.
This is
but
your RIP
worst,
pick?
No, it's not my RIP pick. I just think he's the worst tight end to go for a tight end 1.
He's the worst tight end start. Yes.
Worst starting tight end in the
Explained that
league.
very concisely.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, guys. I also think that there's lack of depth in his bench and flex. And if you're banking on another year like Fields, improving in the passing game and still putting up the same numbers that he did last year for rushing, I think you're mistaken. I don't see him doing
I will say,
as much as everybody's talking about.
I feel like you just said this guy has good running backs, wide receivers,
Bad tight ends, quarterback.
and yet but I feel like both of those, let's say Fields is bad this year because of his rushing. He's not
Right.
going to
He's
finish
not.
outside of the top 12.
No.
Right.
So he's got a QB1, good running back, good wide receivers, and a bad tight end.
Good. I would say
Do you
good,
think
but
that puts
he
him
doesn't.
team 15?
I do.
Actually,
I do.
16.
I do because I
Yes.
don't think he has one player that makes his running backs or wide receivers a great core, like even a really good core. I think
Smith,
all of those
Walker.
Devontae Smith, and then
Keenan
outside of that,
Allen?
Keenan Allen's
Keenan
getting old.
Allen.
He's
Oh, they're
ranked
both gonna put up so much.
42nd wide receiver last year for Keenan Allen. George Pickens was 37th.
Keenan Allen played like 7 games. I think his wide receivers are solid. I also like some of his bench. Like, I think Kamara coming back in week 4 is going to give him a huge boost.
I also, yes, but I think he overpaid for Akers.
You're
I
supposed to
think
say yes and. Yes and
Yes,
is much
and.
more positive.
yes or.
Yes or.
I think that Akers was an overpay, but I don't hate it.
Yeah,
I agree with you, Jack, that I think Musgrave is not a good.
same. Oh,
I mean, maybe
he's the worst.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he surprises us.
Yeah,
But I think he has some interesting bench assets in like Flowers, Kamara. But I don't like
I like Flowers and
the
Kamara.
homer
Those are the-
picks and Love and Dobbs. Ridiculous.
Dobbs is a
All
tough
right?
one. Michael Thomas. I also don't believe in Michael Thomas. I think he's going to get
Same.
hurt.
And I think
I don't
Thielen was
either.
a really bad pick too.
Yeah,
I disagree on that.
I don't
one.
like Thielen either, and I also don't believe in Zay Flowers as much as everybody else does too, because I think
he's-
there is competition there.
Oh, for sure.
for his
but
position.
he's a first-round wide receiver who's been killing it in camp. Like, why would you not make that bet?
Yeah, I could see it.
Especially when you
I
don't
think
have
my
to start him.
my rankings could definitely change for Ryan's team.
Also, I feel like we haven't mentioned that despite sitting on the toilet for most of the night, really solid team by Cox. Sterling, some might say. All right.
He did draft from the toilet for
Yes.
part of that draft.
Squeaky clean draft from Mr. Kopka.
I appreciated that he shut off the camera for those parts. For the most part, I guess he did
Speak
turn
for
it on
yourself, all
one
right,
time.
boys.
hey.
Yeah.
All right, moving into the 8th, right? We're on the 8th power
Number
rank team.
8.
We got the Corn Dog.
Now, by corn dog, you mean corn dog king, correct?
No, he is corn dog. I do not know why he's trying to. He's simply corn dog, and by he, it's the only co-owned team. Noah Schwab and Matt Kirshner,
Yep.
and they are singular corn dog.
So
So they are one.
Luke, did you have him at 5th?
I had him at 5.
And AP, you had him at 8.
Yep.
And I had him at 10.
Yep.
I think as the middle category, why don't I make my
Yeah, you go
my
for
case
it.
here?
Yeah.
I think corn dog had the best start to the draft
Great start.
and a pretty mediocre finish.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All in all, leading to a pretty average ranking. I
Yeah.
think that they're studs though. Again, starting lineup, I gave them a B+. Love Allen, Ridley, Waddle, Barkley,
Yep.
Brees Hall.
Don't
The fact
love
that they're
Brees Hall.
starting McKinnon and Renfro, I think that's a problem.
That does hurt.
That's almost as bad as Curtis Samuel, but not quite.
Not quite. I do agree. Actually, looking at the team, I'm probably closer to where you're at. If I were to readjust, I would drop him a bit. But I think the value on Allen to get him for 28.
That was a good pick.
That was a great pick. Calvin Ridley. I don't love Calvin Ridley this year,
Same.
but
don't either.
he could be good. Like, I don't want to pigeonhole him just because I don't think because I'm not a brilliant
Truth is
fantasy mind.
relative, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. He's going to be he should be the number 1 there. Jalen Waddle is a freak.
He's a stud.
As
I
long
love
as he
Jalen
stays
Waddle.
healthy,
I was gonna say oft injured, but stud.
Yeah.
stud.
Most yards per reception last year with 18.1.
Yeah.
Definitely upside with Ridley coming back, but he's also in a pretty tight offense with a lot of threats. There's a lot of guys that
Kirk,
T-Log
Ingram,
can pass to. Zay will get
I forgot about
touches.
Zay Flowers. Yeah,
Not
Zay
Zay
Jones.
Flowers, yeah.
I meant
Zay
yes. I
Jones.
was
Yeah.
just seeing if both of you remembered.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Isn't he in Indianapolis with Paris Campbell?
Dermot's still in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Oakland. He's still in Oakland.
Oh, my bad. Yes.
I think the reason that I gave Corndog a lower rating is I have their flex/bench pretty low with
They're
like
bad.
Breida and Hilaire. Lack of depth. Won't be seeing the field a ton for Breida if CMC is healthy, stays healthy. A lot of future on this team, not a lot of
Breida's on the
present outside of the
Giants,
top 6.
Yeah.
Breida's on the Giants? Yeah. I don't know anybody on the Giants. I guess.
Do they even exist?
Yeah, I'm obviously not a fan of that team.
Also, who's Bobo?
I don't know who that is.
Seattle. They're Seattle homers. So
Yes, that makes
was their
sense.
last pick. Whenever they were literally the last person to pick somebody in the
It was
draft,
both
Yeah.
of us, and we were
Yeah.
just going back and forth.
and they
but-
couldn't find someone
Yeah.
who hadn't been drafted yet, and they said, "Screw it, nobody's picked Bobo." So they picked
I feel like that we need to come up with a better way to say it. Bobo.
Bobo.
Baby. Yeah, I like Allen Barkley Waddle a lot, but I think there
You don't
are.
like Hall?
I don't like Brees Hall.
I don't like.
I
him.
really
do
like
not
Hall.
like
And I
Brees
thought he
Hall
was
at all.
getting. I think it's a great. Price.
That is probably what dropped their team for me. Is I just don't believe in any team that drafts Brees Hall. I just don't
Really?
like. I don't like.
I don't
him.
believe they
So he had a great
exist.
rookie season. Gets injured.
Brees Hall for the Giants. Don't like him.
2/3 of that name right? New York. I think Hall again, first round pick, elite running back, just talent. He had a good season, got injured, and they bring in Dalvin Cook, who, as Vikings fans, I think we can all agree, has lost a step.
He's lost a step, but he is.
By advanced metrics, he was terrible last season.
I think they're going to give him a lot of work. I think they will be.
Rodgers isn't an idiot though. Like
No,
at some point,
but
it's gonna
he
be
also
like,
loves veterans. He loves a guy who knows what he's doing. And Brees Hall, coming off of the knee injury, he won't
thing
be.
is,
He won't
Dalvin's
be
been
the version
injured
he
too.
was.
Dalvin has a shoulder injury,
Right, but it's not a year removed, and
Yeah.
the shoulder is not the same as a knee for a running back.
But for Dalvin, with the amount of shoulder issues he's had,
You're right.
Like I just think at the end of the day, Hall
I think we're
Hall is a
underrating
bet.
Carter. Then Michael Carter could be the guy.
League winner, some might
League
say.
winner.
Yes. At the end of the day, though, I think Corndog, solid team, could be good. I put Corndog and me kind of in that same category of like high bust, high swing.
I could.
That's a saying: high bust, high swing.
But yeah, that's
You guys have heard that, right? Yeah. An APism.
all right. Number 6,
7.
7. Did I skip it?
Yep.
Oh, I did.
This is another one.
I skipped
Massive.
disagreements.
Yes.
On actually, this one has the widest spread of.
1, 7, and 15.
Yeah, none of us agree on this one. Unicorn fart.
Also, I feel like on the front end, we should just say by far the worst team name in the league. Correct?
Awful team.
Yeah.
Awful team.
Not a
name.
fan.
Unicorn for Connor, you're a smart guy. Like, well, maybe not after choosing this name. I don't know.
I don't know. I question it.
Why don't Jack? You've got Unicorn Fart ranked as the worst.
I do have him pretty low.
Why?
Really
Why
low.
is that?
Let's look.
Can you, as he's looking, can you do your best Jimmy or James Connor? Jamie Connor?
Jimmy Connor? James
Who's the one that
Caan?
says, "Oh, over there"?
Oh no, that's James Stewart. Over there in that window there. Jack's rankings in that window.
Oh, come on.
I'll get you the moon, man.
All right, so my explanation for Unicorn Fart. Deshaun Watson is the starting QB. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
Not a fan. Do not think he's going to do anything this year. I think he is a bust and a half. I think he's actually going to hurt Amari Cooper's probability of being good this year because I really don't believe in him at all. I think he's done. I think he pulled the Tiger Woods and fell off the racetrack.
Tiger Woods came back and won Player of the Year.
Shut
Won a
up.
freaking major championship.
He won a mess.
I know. I was just trying to think of something quick on the spot. But Deshaun Watson,
Well, you
not
failed.
it. Yeah, cheers. I also don't like his depth. Michael Wilson, Gabe Davis, Jerome Ford. No one truly to rely on if there are injuries. Michael Wilson in a terrible Cardinals defense is scary, knowing that Hollywood is going to take up a majority of those touches. So I
Are
don't
you
really.
just saying that as the Hollywood owner?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, and James Conner's going to be taking all the running, and he's going to be a beast.
And
So-
they're going to score 2 touchdowns every possession.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The guys that I do like though on this team, I really like AJ Brown. I'm a huge AJ Brown guy. I think Aaron Jones is going to be, seeing the field a lot and being super productive with Green Bay. Not a huge fan of DeAndre Swift coming into this year. I think he's very injury prone, and I think he's going to be worse than what he was doing in Detroit last year. So all in all, not a fan of the quarterback, not a huge fan of the running back core. Wide receiver core outside of AJ Brown is pretty average, if
You're
not
right.
below
Jamar
average.
Chase is very average.
He's got Jamar Chase?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
This changes a lot.
Jeez Louise,
Do we
man.
see more capitulation?
I didn't know he had Jamar Chase. I had his three guys as Ayuk, AJ Brown, and Sky Moore.
No, he's also got Jamar.
All right, so that changes. That would change my rating and ranking
Yeah.
for sure.
My guess is he would move up to probably a top 5 guy. Like,
Top 5 team.
Yeah.
yeah, because if AP put him 1, I put him 7,
I
And
probably
you-
would have put him like.
10.
Oh, you're saying overall.
Overall.
Yeah,
Accumulative,
I probably
not
would have
for
put him
you.
at like. I thought you were saying like I would have moved him to like 4. I was like, no, I'm still not putting him at 4, but
No.
I probably would have put him at like 9, probably 9 or 10. Yeah,
Which would move him up to probably
yeah,
a 5.
that changes
top
everything.
5.
Now I didn't know he had Jamar Chase, so apologies on my part. But
Apologies,
I-
unicorn fart. That
I am shocked that you don't think this is a better team because I think this is the best starting lineup in the league.
No.
Hands down. It looks like a 12-team starting lineup.
are you believing in Conklin? You think he's a stud?
Okay, I do have weak tight end. But I think Gerald Everett is a fine dart throw to
I think
Good
Everett,
offense.
especially if Cooper Cup's out.
correct.
Oh wait, that is a different team.
We are killing it.
Hey, come play for the Giants.
Everett, I was thinking Higbee. Sorry,
But I do think one of the best buys of the draft was AJ Brown for $39. I have for
That
me,
was-
MVP.
That's
MVP
a,
pick.
That's a good
That
pick.
End of round 1, some of the other players in that tier went for quite a bit more. I think he again weak tight end, fragile running backs with Swift and Jones. But
Yeah.
Swift is the guy. When you said it looks like a 12-man team, Swift should not be in any 12-man rosters. Swift,
he's a really interesting, I think, dart throw at running back. But the fact he's an RB2, yeah, you're probably right.
tough.
I just think I don't love him. Aaron Jones is interesting because I'm curious where the Green Bay offense will put their identity this year. I don't know if Love, like we don't know what Love does. Will he throw it to Jones like
You
Rodgers
might
did?
just throw it to the other team.
He might just throw it to the other team, and they might be more run heavy. They might go AJ Dillon.
It's
getting
hard to
more
be much
carries.
more run heavy than they were under Rodgers, though. Actually, they were very slow, so maybe
Yeah.
that changes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. At the end of the day, I think Connor's a really good lineup, and the bench also a couple really interesting players like Tank Bigsby.
Yep, I like that.
Terrence Marshall,
It's just Terrace.
Taras Marshall. Honestly, Tom Brady at that spot in the draft.
What a steal.
We don't hate. I don't hate it as much
What
as
a
I
steal.
Again, let's say, what if Purdy and Darnold go down? You're telling me Tom Brady doesn't return to try and win another Super Bowl with San Francisco?
As an owner of a team, doesn't he have to get because he owns part of the Raiders now?
about that.
So I think he would have to get special permission. I don't see any way Brady comes back.
Probably
That'll
not.
probably be a draft or a drop. But
I think so too. I think
all in
he's
all,
dropped by week 2.
I think this was a very well drafted team, especially again paid up for Jamar Chase. Got good value with AJ Brown. Deshaun does scare me, but
I like Deshaun.
I think this is a
actually.
contending team.
If Deshaun is back to 80% of what he was in Houston,
Yeah.
that's a steal.
Also
for, like,
$7.
Exactly.
Yeah.
$7. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, moving on to what are we on?
Number 6.
Number
Marcy
6.
Barnacles, another big discrepancy in our rankings here.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one's you though. So Jack had him at 6. I had him at 3.
Just gonna
You
check real
have
quick, make sure I know
Nate-
that everybody's on this team.
Giants. Yep, there we
he
go.
got the whole Giants roster here. Okay.
Crazy. And AB, you have him at 13. So before you jump in, let's read off his starting lineup at least. He's got Trevor Lawrence, Damian Pierce, Miles Sanders, Tyler Lockett, Christian Kirk, Darren Waller, James Cook, and
By
Jahan
Waller,
Dotson.
you mean hardly know her. Waller.
Hey yo. Hey.
I think my problem with Heinrich's teams is I just don't like his players.
Oh,
Um,
that
That'll do
is important.
Yeah, that'll do it.
It's deeper than I remember on draft day. And as I read that out, I believe I am wrong ranking the solo. I would
Oh,
probably
okay,
move it
okay.
up a little bit, but I
Yeah.
still don't see any superstars emerging from this group. And I don't.
Jahan Dotson.
Again, I think Dotson was an old player who was drafted, like average athlete. I think his upside's kind of capped at maybe a good wide receiver 2 in the league, which is
Could be.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm not high on Sanders. I think he overpaid for Lawrence. Lockett, the presence of Jackson Smith and Jigma scares me. So, again, I think it's fine. I would probably move this team up to maybe like 10-ish.
Okay.
And I do like some of the players on his bench, actually. People like, let's see.
How do you feel about Deion Jackson?
I really like that pick,
Me
actually.
too.
And I think I wish I would have. I think he went for way more than I only had $1 at the time, so that's probably why I couldn't.
You only had $1 after the first
Yeah, right.
30 minutes
I
of the
know.
draft.
Deion Jackson's expected to probably start in place of Jonathan Taylor, right?
So I think at the end of the day, Heinrichs, it's more like I think this is a safe team, and that's why I don't think it's my favorite.
Deion Jackson went for 4 times what you could afford.
For
He went for
$4. My
$4.
God.
How the rich live.
Must be nice.
Some of us get no benefits. Right? Just sit under their feet our whole life. But yeah, I think you guys are right in that I don't think I'd move Heinrichs into the top. I think top 3, Luke, is high, but I think
I think
Jack
I
at
have him
6
too
is-
high. I like
yeah,
him at 6.
Yeah,
I think it's a good spot.
I did something right.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yep.
I do love T-Law.
Remember,
I think
Waller is on the Giants, just for the
I
record.
did
all right?
actually
Yeah.
know that one. I only know Giants news, I guess. But I do like Darren Waller. Coming to New York might be a step he needed. I don't trust Danny Dimes, though. I know we kind of covered that. He isn't known for, throw offense. So it's like,
Throw off.
yeah, that's actually
Throw,
literally,
throw.
that's literally what I wrote is throw offense.
He only throws twice.
Yeah. Waller coming off of a 3-touchdown year last year, but obviously injury was painted all over the season. So hard to say what he's going to do. But with just 28 receptions, which was 82 less than Kelsey, if he could even double his production, Waller will be, a pretty solid pickup.
I think
Apparently,
Waller
what's
will
that
be their
camp
number 1.
report that said, they took they sent Darren Waller home from practice because he literally was targeted every time.
Seriously?
Yes, something like
That's
that.
funny.
He could be a beast.
He could be a beast. I like him. And I
also
also
think
I like Damian Pierce. I know that you don't love Damian
At
Pierce.
the end of the day, Damian Pierce is a small running back who doesn't catch passes in a bad offense. Like,
But he gets so much work.
Yeah.
I think he gets a lot of work between the 20s, but they also brought in Singletary. Like,
Oh yeah, big goal line guy.
huge goal line guy. Why do you think I had Mike Boone on my team?
Singletary is like known for 20 to 20.
I just don't think at the end of the day, Damian Pierce is the guy you want to be spending $29 of your draft.
Probably not. That was an
But that was
overpay.
also at the beginning of the draft when we were still feeling it out. At the end of the day, I just don't like what superstar do you see emerging from Heinrich's team? Maybe Cook, maybe
but
Dodson.
Maybe
the thing
Sanders.
is, I don't think in this league you need a superstar. I think if every guy can give you above average points, you're going to win a lot of games this year.
Yeah.
Because there are so many guys that
You're going
we
to take a
look
lot
at-
of zeros.
we
on
look
the end
at
of your
these
bench,
teams that right now we're seeing everybody healthy, nobody on buys. Wait till week 5 when you have 2 guys injured and 2 guys on buys. Who are you going to play?
Nelson
true.
Aguilar, my savior. All right.
Exactly.
Right.
So if he can just fill it, and if he can wait till Jamison Williams comes back,
Thing is, I'm not that high on Williams either.
I'm not either, but he could be. He was.
I really like
I like
first
Kendra
round
Miller.
draft
Young, Miller,
I like Miller.
Ferguson, Wandale.
pick.
like, likely-
Devontae Parker could be the number
Yeah.
1 guy there.
No, that's
He could
another
get-
one where it's not a sexy pick, but I definitely think Heinrichs. You guys convinced me. I will probably move. I would move him up to like that 10
You
to
also
9 range.
you also convinced me. I'd probably move him down to 4 or 5. So still at 6.
And I'm going to stay where I'm at.
Good pick. Good pick. All right,
Brilliant.
number 5. We got the Texas Turf Hoppers.
Can someone explain to me what a turf hopper is?
It's like a grasshopper, but they only reside in turf fields. They don't play
So
in
it's an
natural
actual
grass.
thing.
No.
Okay.
This is just a fancy
It's a made
football
up-
name.
okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Because I felt very uneducated when I was like, I don't know what a turf hopper is.
No, it's not a real thing. Just a fun name.
The thing that I do like about this team is his QB depth. I really like that he has Kirk and Dak.
I actually disagree.
I think Kirk
Oh.
was a steal. I don't know if it's my MVP pick, but I really liked him. What did he go for $5?
Kirk went for 5. Yeah.
I think that's crazy with
Kirk is not a QB1 though. Like,
probably not, but with Dak as a backup, like kind of what we were talking about, if either of those guys get injured, he doesn't really lose anything going into the next week. Kirk coming off of a 4,500 passing yard year last year puts him in the top 4 behind Mahomes, Brady, and Herbert for passing yards.
do passing yards equate to fantasy points?
No, no,
Okay.
no, of course not, Andy. He also had 29
Fantasy
and
yards
14
Don't
interceptions.
equate to fantasy points.
They do, but like I'd much rather have someone who runs and throws for touchdowns.
yeah.
I would too.
But Kirk, at the end of the day, same with Dak. These are safe quarterback options, and I don't know. Again, I think it's a safe team.
For the price, though, it allowed him to go
Yes,
elsewhere.
I do agree.
So
Yeah, true.
I had him the highest by far.
Number
You have
one
him at
team.
2.
2.
2.
Jack,
You
you
guys-
both have him at 9.
9. So as Jack touched on, he's got Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins at QB. His running backs are Najee Harris and Travis Etienne. Wide receivers, Mike Williams, Debo Samuel. His tight end, Zach Ertz. he needs
Now
to.
hold on, who's his backup?
He's got a great backup.
Yeah.
Who's his backup?
Jelani Woods.
I was actually talking to the Turf Hoppers yesterday about potentially trading Evan Ingram over to him for one of his running backs, but I don't think he's going to finalize on it. Sounds like he might be talking to the Lumberjacks about obtaining Freiermuth,
Yes,
which would change. That would my original rating for the Turf Hoppers was like top 3, maybe even like number 2, because if he has a tight end like Freiermuth, that changes his dynamic.
Yeah, because right now having to play Jelani Woods because Ertz is hurt. Right?
Yeah.
So having to play Woods would.
I think my note for this
Kill
is
him.
this team gets ranked outside the top 10 for the simple fact he paid actual auction dollars for the corpse of Zach Ertz and is starting him at tight end. Woof.
That's good analysis too.
Yes.
He's also got injury possibility in Najee and Judy. I'm not a huge Judy guy. I think
actually
Najee will stay healthy this year, though.
I think
he
Najee
will.
was one of the worst picks in the draft.
Really?
Yes.
I like Najee this
What
year.
did he go for?
Najee, I think, went for 34 from what I remember.
That is pretty high.
It's expensive for a guy that, again, it's kind of like the James Conner pick in that it's the illusion of a lot of volume, and he's got a gun running back behind him and Jalen Warren.
Yep.
Najee, he was good. Actually, he wasn't even good his first season. He got a lot of volume his first season.
Yeah.
And then last year when he wasn't, like, I just don't think he's very good, and you paid a lot of money for him.
Yeah.
I think so too. At his flex, he has Alexander Madison.
Which, touching base on him, I know that it's a bit of a biased opinion because we are Minnesota fans, but the thing about Madison that I found out is now being alone in Minnesota, still ran for 5
Alone in
touchdowns.
Minnesota? That sounds like me.
Yeah.
Tyler Sexton.
On next week's episode. No, I think Madison being alone in Minnesota, still running for 5 touchdowns, sharing the ball with Dalvin Cook, who was a top, 5 running back last year or 6 running back?
10.
Top 10 running back last year. I think, his potential is only going to go up, and I think he scores 9 touchdowns this
But
year
do
with
we
an
think
increase
Madison is actually good?
No,
I don't either.
No, I don't
I
either.
think like the Vikings, we gave him a contract to stay here, but
we
it wasn't
brought in
a-
Myles Gaskin.
I just think at the end of the day, Madison
True.
is terrifying to me.
Yeah, it's not
And
terrifying to me.
I wouldn't call him terrifying, but I
Good
don't.
offense, like okay player.
Yeah.
I think it was an overpay. And Connor was showing me the tiers, and like Madison really didn't go for that much, and some of the other running backs in that tier.
Yeah,
But it still is Madison. I think not great. He's scary.
yeah.
I mean, we watched him at training camp. How many passes did he drop?
He dropped like 3 passes in a row. We were
Yeah.
like, we were so excited, and it did not look
Yeah.
good. He looked like the worst running back to me. Okay, number 4.
Just quickly, I
Whoa,
want to go
whoa,
over.
whoa,
I want to
whoa.
go over Austin's bench just.
That's
for
true.
a sec.
That's good.
I actually like Austin's bench.
I do too.
So I gave his bench
Scary
a
Terry.
B. Like Myers,
I gave it a B+.
Judy, Foreman, Wilson Jr., DPJ, Shakir.
Mm-hmm.
But I also said I should drop him to 11 for drafting Chase Edmonds. So
I am not a Chase Edmonds guy at all.
who is? No one is
Yeah,
except
no.
Austin.
I do not like Chase Edmonds. I'm also not super high on Jacoby Myers, but he's a great flex / bench spot. It's it's hard to be like positive about some of these guys where they're not going to produce that much, but like in the grand scheme of things, all of the
If Myers
guys
is like a wide receiver 3. Like
that's
great.
that's
Yeah.
fantastic for a flex.
Yep.
Also, I like McLaurin. I don't know how I feel about Howell yet. We haven't really seen a whole lot out of him, right?
Not really,
We've
but
seen him for one game last year.
Yeah.
yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens in Washington. But McLaurin could be a really, really good
I'd
potential
probably
flex player.
move up Austin's team to
Yeah.
like the 7-ish range after this.
See, I still think he's for sure a top 4 team.
Yeah.
I think his depth makes him a top 4 because again, like we've said a lot this, or at least like I've said, is that and I'm brilliant
Yeah, right.
and I'm right.
Yeah, true.
Is that guys are going to get injured. There's going to be bye weeks, and some people are going to they're going to play really, really bad players. Austin's team is going to be steady the whole year, and that's going to. I think he finishes as a top 4 team.
Also,
I think
when
he makes
Judy
the playoffs.
gets healthy,
Yeah.
if he does, that makes this team like now that you say it, I don't know if I'd go top 4, but he's probably top 6. For
That's
sure.
what I was
Yeah.
going to say. I'd probably move him into the top 6. He's also got Mike Williams, right?
Yep.
Mike Williams, great third option, just shy of 1,000 yards last year at 865.
Third option.
At his wideout 3, right? Debo Samuel, Jerry Judy. Well, I guess.
I would.
I
Put,
thought you meant
two
on the Chargers.
No. Within his team. Interesting fact about Jerry Judy that I didn't know. 67% conversion rate, which is higher than Justin Jefferson's last year at 65%.
for his catch rate.
Yeah, for his catch rate.
That's surprising.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Judy actually struggles with drops. Like known for that.
Drops, worse
right here.
quarterback, but also less targets.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say the sample size isn't.
Isn't
Jack,
fair.
you're wrong.
You're
Anyway,
The fact was right.
moving on to
It's a
number
true
4.
statistic.
I think four is a pretty consistent. Well, actually, no. Luke is pretty behind on. Number 4 is Pond Feet FC.
I like
Durban.
Pond Feet.
I have Pond Feet at 4. Jack has him at 2. Luke has him at number 10. Luke, defend yourself. Explain yourself.
Defend yourself.
Don't
Just talk. Just talk.
Yes.
Talk.
What do you think?
Okay, so I love his 2 RBs and wide receiver. So he's got QB Geno Smith,
Yep.
running back Jahmyr Gibbs, running back Austin Eckler. Loaded RB.
Yep,
Or
agreed.
RBs right there. Wide receivers are Amari Cooper and Cortland Sutton. His tight end is Njoku, and his flex where I have his flex right now. It'll change if Jackson Smith and Jigba is healthy and good to play. I have him at Kadarius Toney and Nico Collins, and I hate his wide receiver 2 through his flex spot. So I don't like Sutton at all. I don't like Njoku. I don't like Kadarius Toney, and I think Nico Collins gets passed over.
I mean, I think I agree that. I think what I have is a solid starting lineup. There's not a lot of weaknesses. I don't think it'll be a bad team. I also don't know what its ceiling is.
Yeah, I just don't think. I mean, does Geno Smith doesn't improve over last year? I think
there's possibility. That's where
You think he could?
I see Geno Smith as being like in the same caliber as
Dak.
No, I'd say better than Dak.
Like Mahomes?
No. Okay. Well, we just went to extremes. Did we
Geno
not?
Smith is the next Tom Brady. Jack Yeager says at
Daniel Jones or
8:40 p.m.
Joe Montana.
Wow.
No, I had him at almost like a not quite Trevor Lawrence, but I see improvement in Geno Smith with a team that he is continuing to play with. So I think his upside coming into his second year of being the guy in Seattle as the quarterback. I mean, finished 5th last year with 4,200 yards, 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Probably going to be tough to top that, but I actually do see it being possible.
Okay, so I
I've seen him
heard
throw
this
for 35 touchdowns.
I heard this on the Fantasy Footballers the other day. They did bring up the stat, he finished 5th, and then one of them said, "Well, yeah, but it was more QB injuries than usual."
True.
And he stayed healthy the entire time. Different stuff like that.
He
That
also
basically
started the season
inflated,
super hot,
inflated.
and
Yeah.
then he did not play well.
So I think
Again, I'm
his
rooting for
5 is
Geno,
inflated.
but I think it's still not a bad QB to have, and the fact that he has Tannehill. I guess my one criticism of Ian's team is that I think he could have played it less safe with some of his later picks. I don't think Marvin Jones or Alan Lazard or even Robert Woods, they don't move the needle a whole lot.
I don't like Robert Woods. I kind of like Lazard this year, but
Yeah, I don't. The ones I like on his bench are Njigba. Darnell Mooney could be serviceable.
I like Njigba.
And then
Tajay.
Elijah Mitchell could.
Yeah.
I mean,
Coming in as the number 2 behind CMC right now, right?
yeah, and when they were both healthy, they were splitting a lot of carries. Elijah Mitchell was putting
Mitchell will
up
get time.
Keyword when healthy.
one healthy.
Yeah.
That is
Is
very
Elijah Mitchell pretty injury prone as well?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
Gets hurt
that's
all
the tough
time.
part.
I mean, he's a running back in San Francisco.
Yeah.
They all get hurt.
I think he's got one of the more, other than the top tight ends that you're going to see. Njoku finished 13th in the tight end race last year. He will be Deshaun Watson's number 2 option in the backfield, or not the backfield. That's running backs in the for wideouts
In the front field.
But the problem
In the forefield.
in the forefront. Yeah. The thing that I don't like, again, circling back to Deshaun Watson, I do not believe in him this year. So I don't think Njoku is going to be that good.
And he also has Cooper.
Yeah, and
So-
I like Cooper, but I don't like Watson. So
Shall we move on to team number 3, gentlemen?
Number
Number
3. We're
three.
on the podium, boys.
So number 3, we consensus rankings have the Lake City Nonglex, the Longnecks,
Nonglex.
also known as Cole Birch. Jack's got him ranked at number 5. I've got him number 2, and Luke has him all the way down at 9. Luke,
do.
defend yourself.
Oh man, okay. As we've gotten to the top of this, we haven't been on the same page anymore. I don't like his. It's kind of the similar thing to Ian's team. So his QB is Justin Herbert, great. His running backs, Isaiah Pacheco and Rashad White, they could be good.
But a
Yeah.
little scary.
Scary, definitely scary. His wide receiver 1, Justin Jefferson, best player
in the league,
right
yeah,
now.
easily.
And
easily.
we're not homers.
Yeah, no.
No, this is an unbiased opinion.
I like the Giants.
His wide receiver 2 is Christian Watson. His tight end is Dalton Kincaid, and his 2 flex spots right now are Dalvin Cook and KJ Osborne.
Yeah.
I think Herbert's good. I think his RBs are scary, and I don't like Christian Watson. I think he takes a drop. I think
So do I.
Love's not as good, and Love also seems to be targeting Dobbs more from camp reports. So him at wide receiver 2, I don't like that. Dalton Kincaid, another rookie tight end,
He's probably going to be more of a wide receiver, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
he will be, but I mean,
He may develop quicker too, just
so
with the
that's what they
offense
said
that have,
about Pitts, though, right? And Pitts,
Had a good rookie season.
he had a good-ish rookie season. What did he finish as a number 6 tight end?
I think it was more
Maybe.
the touchdown regression.
Yeah.
Not like he was truly unlucky on touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, he could be an outlier, but relying on a rookie tight end is dangerous.
Yeah, that's what I have too.
Looking at, I think you have convinced me a little bit, Luke. Here, I don't think this is the second best or third best team. Actually, I haven't ranked it 2.
I'm actually probably with you there too. I might even drop them from what I have them at 4.
5.
I would probably move things around a bit. Well, for one, I'm moving Unicorn Fart in, so somebody's got to go out, right? So I think yeah, the depth is an issue. The guys that I do really like looking at those, like the Dalvin Cook. I like that Zay Jones and Algier on the bench or flex spots, potential flex
I think
spots,
he has
bench
an
spots.
interesting bench.
I do. I like his depth.
I like
Minus
Jonathan
Tanner
Mingo.
Morgan. Minus
Minus
we
Tanner.
all
I love that.
love the
thing.
Gophers.
More-
But
more
I agree with you on Kincaid. I think it's a little dangerous going after a rookie starter and banking on him to kind of put up points. I'm not a Christian Watson guy in the slightest, and I actually don't even really like Pacheco that much either. So looking at the team more, I'm probably dropping this team back a little bit, but
I'd probably go back to like the 6 to 7 range. If
Yeah.
not
So,
even.
so right now we're looking at him rather than being the number 3 team. We're all seeing him more as a bubble team.
Yeah.
probably like a 7-8
But
for me now.
I don't know. Watson is intriguing, but I agree with you guys that I'm not huge on him, but I also think the upside, like, he could be a wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
So
I don't see that for Watson, but it's possible.
You think he could be a wide receiver, like
Top
a top
12.
top 12
Yeah.
guy? I don't see
look at
that.
the games he played last year. Like, he was ridiculous. Would you just meow?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he could be, but I think the percentage shot is
I
very,
don't.
very low.
I also think that the contingent value of Jalen Warren and Tyler Algier incredibly high.
I like Algier. You don't
Again,
love Algier.
Najee.
I just
or-
don't think he'll get much play behind Bijan.
Let's just say
Yeah.
Najee.
Bijan.
Come on,
or
injuries.
Bijan. One of them gets hurt though. Like those are locked in RB1s.
Yeah,
They are.
I'm saying.
That's true.
That's
it's,
where
it's
I-
more so if the injuries go the opposite direction and they don't happen first and he loses Pacheco or White,
Yeah.
then he's in trouble.
Thing is, I think Cook will probably carry him in the early part of the season.
I agree.
At the end of the day, I just think it's like this is a solidly deep team.
Yep.
I agree with that.
I would agree too.
So
Yeah. Okay, enough about number 3.
Yeah, let's get on to number 2.
Yeah,
we got the old Yorkies.
Where is-
gosh, what a
matters.
stupid name. Almost as bad as Unicorn Fart. Just kidding. I absolutely love the name. The logo is really good too.
It's pretty cool.
All right, so starting out with the
If
Yorkies.
I could quickly, before we go into this, if I could just get on my pedestal,
Yeah,
it's not like I hate this team, but I think it could have been so much more.
I know you do. I
Jaeger's MO over the last 10 years, folks, has been to save money, trying to get value.
Oh, yeah,
and
did we
not
mention
end up
it's
getting
my team?
value. Oh, yes.
No, it is my
Lucas
team.
John Jaeger's team.
Yep.
And Luke, this is why I have Luke ranked at number 8. As Theodore Roosevelt once said about the man in the arena, I count this team with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat.
I do
It
know
is a
that you-
safe and average team, good enough to not get relegated, bad enough to not be a true contender. You live life on the fringe, the flims.
Okay, well, can we?
On the edge? On the edge. God, took so long to get that out.
This is the most Luke Jaeger team ever.
Okay, but can we go back? You said you ranked me 8. You ranked me 6.
I meant 6. Do I really have that 6?
You have me at 6. We both have me at 6. So Jack is actually the one who boosted me.
Yeah,
I
actually
believe
like this
I'm
team
more
a lot.
like a 5-6 team, probably somewhere in there.
I got you higher than that.
I think it's more I just fundamentally disagree with your draft strategy every year.
I get it. I understand. Okay, we still haven't said who I have yet. So
Doesn't matter.
my QBs. So I'm kind of.
this is where you're hurting.
I actually
Yes.
disagree.
Well, actually, I think Pickett was a really good pick.
See, I think Sam Howell.
I
is
think both.
I
were
like
good
Sam
bets
Howell.
to
I
and
me.
then,
don't love
and then I
Pickett.
have Tua as well. So
Oh,
I have,
shoot, I didn't
I have a
realize that.
rotating cast that's pretty good at QB.
Well, here, yeah. The only thing I'll say about it, and I'll say it quick, I don't trust Tua with his health. I really don't. I think his
But like
neck
with
is
what you pay, what'd you pay for him?
$4 or something like
That's
that.
like
yeah.
I would.
I
I
think-
wanted to do Daniel Jones or Tua at that price, and like Tua showed last year, like when he's healthy, he can be elite.
Oh yeah, he had a stretch where he was easily a top 5 guy. So I have 3 quarterbacks I believe in because I genuinely do believe in Sam Howell. I know
like
you
Howell.
don't, but he had more rushing yards his senior year than Anthony Richardson did.
That is wild.
That is interesting.
He had more rushing yards, more rushing attempts, and more rushing touchdowns than Anthony Richardson in his senior year.
That is interesting.
However,
But you're not starting
Anthony
him.
Richardson was a
I
top.
am starting him.
You're starting Howell over Pickett?
Well, he plays Arizona in week 1.
Oh,
so
okay. All right. So for week 1, but you're probably going to switch over to Kenny Pickett as the year goes on.
I'll probably go to Tua.
Oh, if he stays healthy.
It is nice to. I do like your quarterbacks.
So, and then running backs, I have Javonte Williams and Khalil Herbert. My wide receivers are Chris Olave and Chris Godwin. I like the Chris's. Tight end, Chiga Conquo. Flex, Drake London. And flex, Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, pretty solid.
So
Yeah.
That's why I had him high. I think you got a lot of depth. I really like Olave. I like Deontay Johnson. I like Khalil Herbert. The guys that I don't like are like Kenny Pickett, Okonkwo, 450 yards last year and 3 touchdowns, coming off a solid rookie campaign. I'm sure we'll see improvements here, but I don't see him breaking tight end 15 though.
he might not, but I have a few other options
Again,
at tight end. I can
ask
also
yourself,
put in Hunter
gentlemen,
Henry.
what stars emerge from this team
Oh my gosh, what stars? Chris Olave.
Chris Olave probably.
other than Olave?
Maybe.
he could break 1,100 yards this season.
I think Olave-
and more than his previous 4 touchdowns last
I
year.
think I just saw you hoarding so much money at the draft. I thought you would go a little more studs and scrubs because you could have had your pick of the litter.
which I did not. So I did have my pick, and these were actually the picks I was looking
I
for.
thought you were
was
going to
these
go
middle-
CD Lamb.
I do regret CeeDee Lamb. So, Jack, you had got CeeDee Lamb. We were bidding against each other, and he was at 43. I think you got
I finished
CeeDee
on 43, yeah.
I think you got him for 43. I paid 44 for Olave. I would like those two are pretty close to me.
Yeah.
But I do wish I had at least gone up to 44 and made you maybe go 45, 46.
I probably would have gone 45, 46 for CD, and that's probably what my cutoff was.
Yeah.
I don't think I wanted to touch 47 or anywhere near 50.
Yeah. So, I mean, those two were the two that I wanted as my number one. I got Olave. I didn't get CD, but I think Godwin is going to have a good year.
The same.
I think Drake London, he'll be okay. I think he'll be okay.
I don't really believe
I like
London.
London.
He's a
Finished with 860 yards last year and 4 touchdowns, but there aren't a lot of throwing options in Atlanta. So
and then Deontay Johnson. I
think it's a
I
good
like
pick.
Deontay Johnson.
I think
Especially
he's
with
gonna
the
have,
Pickett stack.
Yeah, he's going to have positive regression in touchdowns.
Well, he's going to get more than 0.
I hope. I hope.
That's what I've said about a girlfriend for years, Jack. For me. Hasn't happened. All right.
Maybe you should stop
Positive
doing fantasy
regression?
football
Yeah, right?
podcasts.
Maybe I shouldn't spend 6 hours on a fantasy podcast. I think
Bench. What do you guys think of the bench?
I think you have a really good bench.
Yeah, a lot of depth here.
I gave it a B plus. And I said
And you got a possibility for Dynasty too, which I like.
upside swings at running back, Chandler, Charbonnet, A-Chain, Vaughn. I think that you only have 5 wide receivers, correct?
yes.
That's I don't love that.
I would like to get one more wide receiver. I would.
And I don't love the Troutman. The fact that you have
That was-
4 tight ends.
That was a mistake. So
Yeah.
I drafted Hunter Henry as my second to last pick, but I didn't add it to the draft board.
Oh.
And so when it came back, I put up Troutman for $1 or something like that. Or I put him up for 2 just to end my draft because I thought I was like, well, I'll do whatever. And then I realized I never put in Hunter Henry. And so that I would not have taken
Okay.
all of those tight ends.
Yeah.
I'd probably move your team up honestly after. It's a solid team. I think I really don't like the running backs though, but I think your QB
Javonte Williams scares me, but he also excites me.
Oh, I like
He's the bad boy of my team.
He does hold all the cards in
he's the
Denver
me
now.
of your team.
With-
Yes.
if he's got a healthy season ahead of him, I think he could be really dangerous.
Yeah.
But he could
I-
also be kind of a disappointment.
I like Herbert too. And the thing is with Javonte, like he tore everything in his knee. Like it wasn't just an ACL.
Yeah.
I know. For the
MCL,
reasons that I
PCL.
dislike
And
Brees
the
Hall,
thing-
I should also dislike Javonte, but I didn't hate the price. I got him for 18.
But I do
Yeah.
like, again, Charbonnet, Chandler, A-Chain, Vaughn.
I got Jamal Williams for the first few
I
weeks.
didn't see that. Yep, I like that too. All right, boys.
Number 1.
Unfortunately,
how
this
bad
is-
does this hurt you?
I have just like an anxious, like, I mean, I'm constantly
Should we
anxious,
just-
but I'm even more anxious about to announce this.
We could
so.
end the podcast here.
After this one?
No, just end it
I
here.
feel like if we
Never
do-
say Eli's name ever.
If we do though, he wins. The
probably
terrorists win.
Okay,
Yes.
let's talk. Number 1, Slumlord Co. Owned by Eli Sunderland.
Does hurt a little bit.
It does.
Let's talk about what we don't like about this
What a
team.
douche.
We don't
Yeah.
like that it's owned by Eli.
I think he is dependent on a subpar quarterback for fantasy production.
I think,
Hoping for Cooper Kupp to play.
Well,
if you don't have Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford loses value and his team loses value.
Yeah, so his
This is
his
kind of
starting
the-
lineup
yeah, let's go
is
with the
Matthew
starting lineup.
Stafford,
Yep.
Derrick Henry, and Joe Mixon.
Which I do like.
Then at wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins and Mike Evans.
Yeah.
His tight ends, Cole Kmet.
Yep.
His flex are Van Jefferson and Brandon Cooks. On
Yeah.
his bench, a couple of guys that kind of stood out. He drafted Jonathan Taylor.
I like Jonathan Taylor. I think
If he plays.
If he plays, but I do think he will play.
And even if he doesn't, though, Eli is set up to keep him for $33 next year.
Yeah, which is nice.
a pretty nice deal.
Yeah, that's awesome.
If he plays,
He
I
is
think
a
he's
bit
done.
old, though.
Early retirement.
Yeah. One of the things you did say about his running back core is, yes, they are dangerous this year, but for how long are they going to be dangerous?
I don't-
How long do you keep Derrick
This
Henry or
is
Joe
a-
Mixon? You probably don't keep him.
This is a fragile team. I think I wrote old running back heavy won't be great for future years, but I think it'll be solid this year.
I think he could win this year. Obviously, I ranked him 1. So
I will say, like,
what
it's
did I
an
put him? What
interesting.
did I have him at?
1.
It's
I had
an
him at one as well.
interesting.
AP had him 3.
It's an interesting build in that it's not like wide receiver. I think I don't love his wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at it, I don't like his tight. I think Cole Kmet is not great.
I don't either.
He
And
surprised
I
me a
also
little
think
bit after
Van
looking up his-
Jefferson is a pretty bad. Like I think
he
Eli's.
improves if Cup is hurt.
I don't know. I think Eli's wide receiver core is pretty weak, but he makes up for it with a absolutely like filthy running back room.
Actually,
I
but I
think
also
his
think-
starting receivers are good though. Hopkins and
agreed.
Evans
Yeah.
they're great.
Yeah.
I think his bench though, he's got some upside swings that I really like. Specifically, again, Jonathan Taylor, Zamir White, Mike Gesicki, Michael Gallup, even CJ Stroud. Like, I think he had just a well drafted team.
Agreed.
Did you say Rashad Penny?
I did.
Okay.
I don't understand the Gage pick at all, considering he tore his ACL.
That was another just get
Okay.
out of the draft pick.
Okay.
He just wanted a $1 guy that nobody was going to take. And to be fair, he can put him on IR.
Yeah.
So until somebody else replaces that, he can just add somebody.
True. That's a good point.
I don't know.
The other thing I disagree is I kind of do like his wide receiver core. Outside of the news that we just heard about Mike Evans, he might not be playing if he doesn't get another contract. I do like DeAndre Hopkins catching for 700 yards and 3 touchdowns on only 9 games last year. Definitely shows promise on a season with healthy legs. I also like Brandon Cooks getting an opportunity in Dallas could show strides for his 10th season. He's getting older. But
I just don't. Again, the bet on the Tennessee Titans offense scares me
yeah.
because you've got
I
Henry
get that.
and Hopkins. Will
Oh,
Levis
that's
could
the-
be starting
That's
soon.
the second time I haven't noticed
Yeah.
that it's the running back and wide receiver combo.
Like
That's
I'm
tough.
just saying.
Oh, that is tough. I didn't realize
That's why I
either.
feel like fragile is the best way to describe this team because I don't think it's going to be around for a while. And if things don't break correctly, Joe Mixon, like the team tried to trade him or cut him this offseason, didn't he?
Yeah,
Did
but
they?
who do they have behind him right now?
So many things.
Yeah.
Chris
Nobody.
Taylor,
They have
Travion.
I mean, they're going to be a team that they need him because they're trying to win right now. They'll use him this year. He'll be gone next year, but I don't think Eli cares. He won't keep him next year.
But like, yeah, I think it's Henry and Hopkins and Evans, a little risky. And I think this team could, like, it looks really good right now.
It does.
But like any running back based team, like they get injured more frequently. They're not as consistent as wide receivers. I think that it's a pretty fragile team.
I agree. But saying that, we have
we
him
still
number
have
one.
another one.
But
we
I
gotta-
hate myself. Yes.
Awesome. We're going to wait for Wheel of Misfortune for next week. Or for
I think
for
we
next
can
episode.
quickly just say, all right, guys, all on three. Who's the worst fantasy manager in the league? Freebie.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the best fantasy manager in the league? All right, all on three. AP.
Connor.
I don't know. I actually don't know
I
my
actually would
answers
have,
for those.
no, I don't know. I
don't
think
know my answers.
I'd probably say it's Connor.
I would say Connor too. If he gives it his all. He
Yes.
does like to gamble on the ponies, you know, and not pay attention to
a new pair of shoes. All right.
if he's actually into DFS more, sometimes he neglects.
If
his
Herta was
long-term
still
league.
in the league, I'd say Herta.
Yeah, but nobody knows who Herta is.
Well, good thing he's not in the league.
Yeah,
then.
exactly.
We're going to have to cut that
And then
one out.
finally, Who's your least favorite human being we play with? Everyone on 3. 1, 2, 3.
I actually don't know that one. I'm just a follower.
Trust us. We're right. All right. Yeah.
Didn't know that yet, but
Guy sucks. He abuses renters. Didn't you know?
Slumlord.
Yes.
so how are we closing this out? We're just doing send us your questions on email and just saying like, well, thanks for showing up today.
All 0 of you. Yes.
Yeah.
It's-
Whoever's out there, Mom, thanks for watching. We appreciate you guys being here. If you do have any questions for us, make sure to send it over to our emails or put them in the YouTube comments, TikTok comments. We'll have all of the links in the description below for Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. But make sure to follow and subscribe for more. Looking forward to seeing you on Thursday as well. See ya.
Bye. We need a better sign off.
Yeah. We'll catch you later, relegators. That's so good.
See you later, relegated.
Yeah, that's good. We'll see you later, relegator.
That's great, Jack.